Welcome back to Bit Distracted Games. I am Nick, and I'm teaching you how to create your very first 2D platformer video game in FlatRedBall. If you haven't watched the previous video, I will leave a link in the description so you can get started. This will help you set up your FlatRedBall environment to progress through the second video tutorial. If you need help, I will also provide a link to the FRB Discord server. And with that, let's begin. There is another software you will need called Tiled. I will leave a link in the description so you can install it. Once installed, you can see a little T-shaped logo in the top view of the FRB window. Using the drop-down menu next to the T, select Level 1 Map.tmx. Once Tilemap opens, you can see that it looks exactly like the game we just played. Before we continue, I want to point out that it's highly important to use the tile maps that are inside the project that you are currently working on. Let's say you had two different brand new projects open, and in each of the projects, you open each level 1 map.tmx file. In this tiled application, you would have two tabs saying level 1 map.tmx and two other tabs in the tile set labeled tiled icons. This would be an issue because you could easily be editing the wrong file for the project you are trying to work on. For example, you could be using a tiled set that looks exactly the same as the one you are supposed to be using, but is actually out of the scope of your project. You only want to work with files that are in the project folder that you are intending to edit. If you need more clarification about what this means or why it matters, as always, feel free to ask. Going back to the game, as you may have figured out on your own, whatever changes we make in this file will affect the game that we run on FlatRedBall. Let me show you, and feel free to follow along on your own project. I'm going to make sure my gameplay layer is selected in the Layers window. This layer is where collision is defined within our game's environment. Next, I'm going to go to the Tile Sets window and select the very first tile icon in the Tiled Icon tab. After selecting this tile, notice the Properties window and draw your attention to the Class field. This solid collision class allows our game to provide a physical barrier in which our player cannot pass through when using the brick tile icon. Taking a quick detour, if we go to the Explorer in the FRB window, Screens, Game Screen, Objects, and then click on Solid Collision, its properties will open in a window on the right. I'm not going to go in depth on what is happening, but I want to show you a feature that is worth exploring outside of this tutorial. Remember, questions are always welcome, so please take the opportunity to study on how this solid collision works, followed by bringing your questions to the comment section, or more effectively, the Discord server. Another related topic that's worth exploring is collision relationships, but that is a topic for another day. Going back to Tiled, Gameplay layer is selected along with our desired icon. Let's also make sure our stamp brush is selected by clicking its icon or pressing B on our keyboard. Now it's time to edit our game's level. Let's draw a set of platforms for our player to jump on. It's time to save our file, go back to FlatRedBall editor, and run our game. One big thing about game development, or any coding really, is you want to save often and test thoroughly. Let's start our game up and see if our newly added platforms work. And they work. You have successfully manipulated your game's level environment using tile maps, tile sets, and collisions. But what if we want to make the level bigger? Let's head back to Tiled. Click on Map, Resize Map, and enter the number of tiles you would like to adjust the width and height by. I'm going to set my game to 40 tiles wide and 16 tall. Because I want to keep the tiles I just painted in my game, I'm going to set the offset of Y to -16 tiles. I'm going to also keep this checkbox checked and click OK. Now, we have a wider but shorter map that we are working with. I don't like how the bottom half of this one is still showing, so I'm going to erase it along with some of the break tiles to the right using the eraser tool. You can click on its icon or press E on your keyboard to select the eraser tool. Now time to edit our level as we please. I've finished my level, so time to save it and test it out. Oh no, I can't reach the final platform. Let me adjust my level so the player can accomplish the objective of making it to the end of the level. Let's test it again and see if it's beatable now. And just like that, we resized our game map while keeping the game beatable for the player. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial series so far and can't wait to help you on your game development journey. As always, don't be afraid to ask questions. I can't stress how much you will learn just by being active in the FlatRedBall Discord server. Once again, I am Nick with Bit Distracted Games. Make sure to tune in for next video on tile sets making your game a lot more pleasing to look at.